Would you like to see the box that's been sitting behind you all day and underneath
That's
the
right.
blanket?
So let's do that.
We left the blanket on there.
I mean,
No, we're good.
I mean, really.
Yeah, I don't think it's gonna work anymore. It's melted.
Never mind. No.
Oh, sure.
Come on.
So shall we? So we go take a look at the box?
Yes, please.
Okay.
Why don't you just wheel it up to the front, put it on the table, Jack.
Yeah, I'll just get right on that.
Why don't we just pass it around?
Sure. Yeah.
Okay.
This is the swag, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. You have to take it on carry-on though.
Yeah.
You can carry it, you can keep it.
Okay.
By yourself, sure. I guess.
So,
Yeah, it's a 14 RU box.
so this is showing you the 8 slots of the line cards. This is a 48-port, 16 gig fiber channel card, and then these are the 2 half-width supervisors.
Sorry, no pictures. No pic. I'm sorry.
So, and then these are the power supplies, and I can sort of take out the.
It's not plugged in.
So this is the line card, with the architecture that I talked about with the ASICs and the memories and the fabric cards, and so there's, you guys are welcome to come and take a look at this. There's 6 fabric cards in the back, 2 behind each fan tray.
Not me, the fabric module. God. So, realistically, the way that these things all fit together, it's actually, I think it's kind of neat. So, who was asking about the fabric modules and how many you needed and turning them off and on and stuff like that? Was that you? I'm sorry, what? Somebody was asking about the fabric modules and then downsizing what you don't need and that sort of thing. Somebody was asking about it. It was right. Yeah. Okay. Every line card is connected to every fabric module, and that's how the bandwidth actually winds up getting spread across the entire crossbar fabric, which means that, let's say, for instance, you're using 384 ports of 16 gig line rate, right? Every single one of these is connected to however many fabric modules you've got. Now, a 3 fabric module switch would be able to handle all of that bandwidth, okay? So if you added in a 4th, effectively what would happen, you still have every single one connected to every single one. Right, well, it would be a hot spare, but still you're round-robining all the bandwidth across all 4 because all 4 are connected, right? Now, if you were at a 5th, you'd basically be adding a whole bunch of bandwidth that you already have duplicated in 4 because every single one is connected to every single one, right? So the benefit of that is that if you're looking at upping the bandwidth or upping the dosage in terms of what kind of line cards you're looking at. So right now we're talking about 16 gig and 10 gig, but that's only half of the fabric modules. In the future, if you're going to need more bandwidth, you add more fabric modules. If you don't need that bandwidth, let's say you're talking 4 gig, right? You could do 4 gig the whole way through, put in 4 gig optics, and still have 3 fabric modules, but that now you're using actually 2 for the bandwidth, and then the hot spare is a 3rd. So you only need to add a fabric module if you're going to increase the number of bandwidth that you need going in through the front panel. So obviously we're talking about 16 gig, right now only needing 3. Right? So you can do the math yourself, because you saw the numbers. You can do the math yourself that once we start upping the dosage, you would add an extra fabric modules as you need. So you keep the bandwidth high and the requirements to add in additional modules and power later on down the road.
So this could also help you grow with 32 gig blades later on.
That's right.
If that becomes something that customers are screaming about, then sure, absolutely. Or 40 gig Ethernet, or 100 gig Ethernet. Because realistically, it's when we start looking at putting in those modules these line cards, excuse me. And we start doing the calculations across the backplane. Each line card, because it's connected to each fabric module, allows us to have complete scalability all the way up through the entire 384 ports at that speed, or whatever density we're talking about eventually. Right now, it's 48 and 48. Right? So when we started off this conversation, we were talking about long-term plans, right? MDSs that have been running for 6, 7, 8 years, 9 years. Well, this is going to be doing the exact same thing, and this is the next generation. See what I did there? This is the next generation of being able to accommodate whether we're talking about what you need right now versus what you need next year. So this is supposed to help you choose now for extra bandwidth capacity. But at the same time, Nitin's absolutely right. We're not seeing a lot of customers who are going, oh my God, I need 1.5 terabits of bandwidth across my backplane right now. There are a couple, but literally a couple. So most of the customers are barely pushing 4, maybe pushing 8 in bursts, realistically. Okay? I was talking to a major financial institution last week in England. And they're like, I said, well, how many port channels have you got? Well, we're running 8 gig. Okay, well, how many links in a port channel? 4. Are you hitting that? No. This is their backbone inside of the London office. The problem that they have, and the problem that they're going to continue to have, is that in London, as well as other parts of Europe, they are limited by space. Right? So that if they want to up the dosage later on, they can't just add more switches. They have to go up in an actual link capacity. And that's where some of the stuff for FCOE is coming into play. Right? Because of the efficiency, you can actually do this with some of the with FCOE without having to go into reinventing the wheel, so to speak. So going back to what we were talking about before, put the right tool for the job. If you're looking at growth, like massive growth over the next 10 years, or even steady growth over the next 10 years, you pop in another fabric module when you need it. That makes sense. Transcripts of the speech are available by sending $2 to Steve.
So thanks, Jay. The other thing that, there's certain, you're welcome to come by and take a look at it. What we've done also is we've got these lights at the top, for example.
It has lights.
So for this tells you, so there's
Bells and whistles too.
that's right, bells and whistles, but I don't hear the ringing.
This is not plugged in.
Once it does get. So, basically, power supplies, fans, supervisors, fab modules, I/O modules. If anything goes bad on sort of any of these things, then this will light up as yellow or amber, we say, whatever amber is. And yellow, yeah?
Orangish.
Okay, orangish. Okay, so.
You sound like a drunk Floridian.
And then we have, I think on these line cards, we have these things like ID, where these are small, tiny lights, which an operator, so let's say if you're a remote admin, and there's a lights out data center or a data center, and then they have their folks there, you can sort of hit your management, and then you can get the blue light blinking on that particular device.
Location ID, location level.
Yeah. On the line card, on the power supply, each one of those has it, the fabric cards. So basically it's blinking, and then you can tell the operations guy, go ahead and change that. So it provides you that capability.
Pull the cord.
Sorry?
No, I pull the cord.
Yeah. So,
So I'll get out of the way, and you guys can come over and take a look if you want.
yeah.
Yeah, you will not get it.
Oops, sorry.